What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brennan and I'm BManX45, and today we're coming at you with another video. This isn't really a hobby news update. We've already got all our hobby news out of the way for BT14 and the Ultimate Cup. But this is more of a discussion video on what's going to happen with the Ultimate Cup format, what I'm thinking about in terms of going into, because I am playing on the 2nd, 9th, and 10th on all 3 December Ultimate Cups. So I want to do well. I've mentioned before I want to get those War Growlmons. I need 2 more War Growlmons, the ulti ones that look, or not War Growlmons, Growlmons, sorry, the Growlmons, so top 64. If I could do better, even great. But the Ultimate Cup format's really weird with the new restrictions, and we talked about that in a previous video. I will link that video in the description if you want to check that out. So with the new rule set for the Ultimate Cup, there's a lot of restrictions, and we're kind of like, I want to talk about what's going to be good and what's going to be kind of not so good for deck building, and kind of get your guys' opinions on that. What you guys think will be good. If you think that everything's kind of hard pressed to do well with the limitations, or maybe something isn't hard pressed with the limitations and maybe it's got more support we haven't even thought about yet. So let's get into this. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. So I will be doing deck profiles for the Ultimate Cup format. I'll probably do at least 2 to 3 deck profiles for the Ultimate Cup format, and then I'll probably do another deck profile for the same deck in the regionals format, just because it's going to be so different, right? It's going to have a lot of change-ups are going to happen. So I definitely think it's worth doing some not all of mine in Ultimate Cup format, because it's only going to be December and things could change for the next Ultimate Cup, and we might even, for the next Ultimate Cup, we might even have BT15 by then, because I think they don't do any in January because of Nationals, so we won't see another Ultimate Cup format for March. I think it's March, June, September, and December. So 4 times a year is Ultimate Cup. So with that being said, with the restrictions to only BT14 and RB1 cards, let's kind of take a look at what we got. And we do have more cards available because there is stuff from the tournament pack we can look at. So you have the Koromon, Bukamon, Tokamon, Tanamon, Missamon, and Balmon lines. Right now, I think the top contenders are going to be anything that has enough support and enough aggression to be a deck. So I'm thinking Koromon, so I'm thinking War Greymon, Yellow Vaccine, Fenrir Lugamon, maybe D-Brigade, because we do have some D-Brigade cards that we can play, but not much. So that's where things get a little bit difficult. I don't know about green. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think green's going to be a hard contender. I don't think blue's going to be a hard contender too, because it has such limited support and form of boss monsters too. So we do have the Agumon line, so we have everything from here. Plus, we do have a lot of other stuff that we can use that we'll talk about in a second. Whereas here, we don't have much. We have the Kakumon line. I don't know how good Plesiomon is. It doesn't seem like super strong. We have the inclusion of the yellow vaccine stuff. And I haven't really checked out to see what other vaccine stuff would be good. Like maybe Centaurumon. When attacking, one of your opponents gets minus 2,000 DP for the turn. That's pretty cool. We got other things like that. You got Monziamon, but that's a Numamon card. Seraphimon's pretty cool. Recovery +1. And when a card is added to your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000, and this Digimon gains security attack plus. So all turns, once per turn. So that can happen on your opponent's turn too. So if they hit something that allows you to add a card, like they hit a TK out of security and TK lets you add a card to your security stack, you can just go negative 7,000, right? It's pretty good, especially if they're checking, if there's an aggro deck that's just not popping your guy but checking like multiple cards. It can be really good. So yeah, Palmon, I haven't really looked into the Palmon stuff. I could be wrong. Palmon could be really cool. Could be really, really good, but I haven't really looked into it. You got the Commandramon stuff, the D-Brigade stuff, which does give you some cool support. You got that. You got your level 4s right there, because you got 8 level 4s right there, and then you can just put something else in as a level 4, because you can't play the Sealmon from EX4, but it gives you a good lineup. You got 4 Cargo Dramons. Vademon's all right. It's not a D-Brigade card, but it's a potential other level 5 for you to play. And then you have your boss monster, right? So I like the fact that you have more options with Brigadramon, plus you have the tournament pack Commandramon. So you have potentially eight rookies right there, and you might just have to play something else generic, right? That's kind of the thing we're talking about here. And then Lugamon's interesting too because he loses a lot of cards with Lugamon, but you do have Lugamon, you do have Lugarmon, Fangmon could be your level 4 lineup because he's really good and he's a dark animal, so like 8 of these. The only thing I worry about is you lose a lot of your level 3 lineup potential, and all you have is Lugamon, so that's really, really good, and you might just have to play some jank. You can play Gabumon, you can play the trash Gabumon, the one that's limited to 1. I mean, it might not be bad, right? Like it's an option, right? That gets you 5 level 3s, you know, whatever gets you your numbers you need. You got Fenrir Lugamon's really good, and you got the Tamers and stuff like that. Plus you have your option cards; those will help fill out your slots. Like Emissary of Hope will, the DCD Bomb I think will a little bit, and nothing for really purple. But then you have Angemon and War Greymon. So that's what you got for BT14. But it's really hard to tell. And then you have everything in the RBO1. So this promo Agumon, you got him. So you got an extra Agumon name. See, there's your 8 Agumons right there. And you got even more Agumons, but we'll get to that in a second. You do have all of the Gamamon stuff. You do lose out on a bit of Gamamon stuff because you lose out on anything that's not RB1 other than Beetle Gamamon and one of the promo Gamamons, which come in the tournament pack, which are legal. So any of your promos in the tournament pack are legal. So we can look at that in a moment as well. Jellymon might be all right. You're going to lose some Jellymon support, but not I don't know how much of it was played. You're going to lose a lot of stuff for Diarbitmon, so that sucks because you're going to lose about half your line because you only got you had half a Diarbitmon line and this gave you the other half, and now you lose that. So you lose all that stuff. You don't lose all the Tamers. Black Gatomon is a dark animal. You can play that in Fenrir Lugamon, and it's not bad because it's a security, plays that security, and on play, return 1 Digimon card from your opponent's trash to the bottom of the deck, draw 1. So you draw 1 and you put something at the bottom of their deck, which is pretty good because if they're a trash-based deck, like if you're playing against Lugamon, you can potentially put their pieces. It's pretty good. Put their pieces back on the bottom of their deck, which is actually phenomenal. So that's actually a cool level 4 you can play in Lugamon. So that's interesting. You get all your Tamers and stuff like that still, but and you got some, and then so this is where you get all the reprint stuff. So you got another Agumon in the form of the add-all Tamers among them to your hand. You get Tai, you get TK. So TK is actually a little bit more powerful because you don't get the BT12 Tai, but you get this guy. But you do get, and you get the ST15 Tai, but you do get your Memory Tamer TK and your new TK, which actually makes me lean a little bit more towards Vaccine. You get Rise Gray, so you can play, there's your level 5 other than Angemon Ace, because now you can play your Tamers for free, and you get Security Attack +1. You can play Shine Greymon in that deck. If you have multiple Tamers, you can play, if you want something more than just Seraphimon as your level 6, you can play some Shine Greymons. You can play Recovery Salamon. That's a good level, that's a good level 3 other than your Patamons. Here you can play, like I said, you can play the one of that because that's limited. You can play Matashita as a Memory Tamer, but I don't think that would be good in Lugamon. You can play Demi-Meramon as an egg. You have tons of options. You can play Angelwoman as a level 5 to minus security tech. Like Yellow Vaccine, I think, has got one of the best support lines because of the restrictions. You could play Rise Greymon but that's just bad. You'd rather play the other guy, even though you don't get the on play. Lady Devimon. No, you're not gonna play Lady Devimon, but it's a trash card. You could play a Lilithloop deck. So many different things. You can play Hidden Potential Discovered if you play green. That's pretty good. Delicate Plan for War Greymon. You can play or Gamamon. You're not gonna play that in Gamamon. Oh, am I kidding? You can play Labramon. It's not a dark animal, but it's an option for a level 3, and it's draw 1, Trash one, it's not bad. It's on play. So, I mean, it's all right. It can help you Digivolve up your stack if you need a level 3. You can play Blinding Ray. That's pretty good. You can play Kari. Not that you would in that deck. You can play Jack Raids. You can play so much stuff. You can play BT5 Coromon. You can play the best Coromon egg. Although the new one's probably pretty good too. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can play Weedmon. You can play Digiburst. You can play Blitz Omnimon. You can play Blitz Omnimon and War Gray. That's huge. Because Blue's not doing anything. So, that's game right there. Yeah, you can play ST3 Patamon, which is not necessarily the greatest, but it gets you memory, so why not? You can play the security. This is where it gets cracked, because you can play security TAC 1 Greymon. Play Holy Flame in Yellow Vaccine. That's huge too. You got some Garurumon stuff. Who cares? Who cares? It's bad. You can't play All Force. You can't play Diaboromon. You can. Here's some of your other support cards, your promos and stuff like that. You can play all the memory boosts, so that's nice. You could play Pulsemon in Yellow Vaccine. It's a vaccine. If you have exactly 3, it's a cool on play. And I think no, Angemon plays a Patamon, so you'd want more Patamons in there for that to work. So there's stuff like that. But you also have here. Let's go back here. You also have your other stuff that's going to be legal. So everything in the the pre-release, so the promo Gatomon and the Greymon X-Antibody is legal. So you have Greymon, you have 8 Greymon names that are legal, plus the new one, which I don't know if anyone plays the new one. Also the starter decks, so the black Greymon is legal. All the black stuff is legal, and if it can mix with the red stuff, who cares, right? A lot of things are just Digivolve from an Agumon, so it doesn't really matter. You do only have the Metal Greymon Ace, so you lose out there because you don't think I have a lot of Metal Greymon cards. You don't have any of the really good Metal Greymon cards, unfortunately. And that's one of the things you lose out on. That's really, in that sense, you lose out in that mid section here. But let's see. Let's look at the tournament pack here, if I can find it. Tournament pack. I probably passed it already. Stuff's so hard to find. You get both those decks. We can look at that stuff. Wow. There we go. Tournament pack kit volume 11. It took way too long to find. So you can use all of this stuff. So you can use these Pulsemon and Bulkmons. I think they're from BT7. It's hard to see the number. You can use Beetle Gamamon and the Gamamon promo that you don't have. They're now reprints. So you can use all this stuff. You can use... Oh, I forgot about this. So you can use the 2 best Agumon Greymon combos and play your ties for free and search out your ties and your pieces. So you don't even need that 2,000 plus Agumon. So that's pretty good. And you can play this Commandramon, which I believe is BT5. BT5 Commandramon. So hard to see. Yeah, I think it's BT5 Commandramon, the blocker one. The promo Gabumon, whatever, the Kumon, you can play all that stuff too. So that is an option right there. Same as it shows me. I believe that's BT7. Like I said, the numbers are so bad, but I'm pretty sure that's BT7, Bulkmon and Pulsemon. So you can play all this stuff. Yeah, this is the delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 2,000 or less. Opponent's Digimon, yeah. So you can play that stuff too. So that's all legal. There's a few other things that are legal, but I can't think of them right now. All the Tamer Party cards are legal. Meh. Meh. So that's interesting. So, I mean, I've looked at a couple decks here. We're going to quickly, before we end the video, we're going to look at a couple profiles I pulled up on Digimon Card.io. So like I said, looking at this list, you get the BT3 guy's not going to be legal, so you don't get him. The BT4 guy's not legal, so you're not going to get him. You're not going to get the EX3 guy, so you're losing all of that for Commandramon support. But you do have the BT5 guy, which is just not as good as these guys, obviously. But so it takes up some of the spots. You get both of these guys, so you got a solid, level 4 lineup. You just need to find something else maybe to fill it out with. You got the Cargo Dramons. You don't got anything else really for level 5s, but you can use the Vader Mons. I don't know. Brigadramon, yeah, you don't get any of these guys, so you're going to lose that. So you're going to have to heavily rely on Brigade Dramons. You got all the trainings. The trainings are there. All the survey pack cards, too, are there. Not that many of them are going to help, really. None of them are really, I think, going to do much of anything for helping wise. You have Izzy, so you can do like a split with your Memory Tamer and Satsuki, so that's good. And you got a good new baby, so you're set on that. So you're losing some cards from a typical build. I don't know if this is a good build or not, but it's one I pulled up and it looked interesting. But so you're losing some cards. You go over to here. You're losing Kudamons. You could replace them with Salamons and potentially just play another Patamon as your third. You're losing the Geo Greys, the Rapid Mons, so you're going to need to play other level 4s. I think level 4s are probably going to be the hardest part about your yellow vaccine lineup. Plenty of, but you might gonna have to play some of the vaccines from BT14. Magnagmon, yeah, I would rather play Rise Gray than this because this is on play, and I think that's bad. Goldramon, you can play as another option to Seraphimon. That's not bad. That's actually not bad. I didn't think about that originally, but I still think Shine Greymon's a cool card. But you're not playing a ton of Tamers. You're only playing 6 Tamers, potentially. You could play 3 TKs. You could play a little bit more. Physical training's be great in this deck. Emissary Hope, you're going to have to max those out. The Tokamons, yeah, that's all good. So that deck's losing a bit too. And then you got things like Lugamon. This one's got a lot of support that you can't use because it's BT15 support. You can't use Chimeramon. You're gonna have these guys. Like I said, even this deck is gonna be hard. You can use the Gabumons, the when attacking Gabumons from your hand and stuff like that. So I mean, there's a lot of potential. Rush Gatomon would have been really cool, but you can't play that either. So you're losing a lot of support. So it's gonna be a difficult building process. It's gonna have to require lots of testing, which is unfortunate because we only have 2 weeks until the first Ultimate Cup. So it would suck to lose out the first time around because you're waiting to see what's good. So a lot of testing is going to be involved. So we're going to hopefully have some of these deck profiles up within the next week as an idea of what you can run for the Ultimate Cup. This is new to me. I'm honestly going to have an interesting time trying to figure this out. But tell me what you guys think. Do you think that this is doable? Do you think this is kind of a losing battle here? Are we going to have a hard time doing this? What's going to be the best deck? Because honestly, people are like, oh, we're just going to play Lugamon. It's like, well, no, Lugamon loses a lot too. And it has bare line ability. Like, doesn't have a lot of cards. It doesn't have 2 full sets lines of support. I mean, there are some definite good options. Obviously, maxing out on every Lugamon card is going to be important. Maybe even the level 5 that a lot of people are only playing 3 of. So it'll be interesting. I honestly think probably Yellow Vaccine and War Greymon have the best access to other cards. Like, I think Gamamon could be strong too, but I feel like Gamamon loses a lot of cards that just make the deck good. You do get the Beetle Gamon, so you do get the Blitz. But I still feel like it loses out a lot of cards. It loses the original Kano Weissmon, which I think is just better. But I guess you could just play 4 and 4 of the purple and red guy, which, is what it is. But I will have to see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But the Ultimate Cup is definitely going to be an interesting format. Definitely going to be a little bit wild, and I wonder how many people are just going to skip it entirely because it's like whatever. But I'm already signed up for all 3 tournaments, so I'm committed. I'm committed to this, getting that top 64 with this janky ass format. But tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. We hope to see you in the next video, and as always, have a wonderful day. And that's all for now, folks.